That and that. Hey everybody, it's Dan from the Outdoor Trade Show Network. It's Sunday. It's time for We Care You Matter. I got Jack Flood here, and I want to let people know this. You're going to get to know Jack quite a bit in the next 2 months, probably the next 10 years.
Yeah.
So, Jack, why don't you say hi to everybody? We'll start out with that.
Hello, everyone.
Jack's going to say hi. Now, the next one is I'm going to get to a little story of how Jack and I, somehow you reached out in one of these broadcasts and said that a lady by Cindy needed to give me a call. So I reached out to you, and probably about a month ago, Jack made a statement that I think he's going to, I don't know, I think it's going to the start of a very good relationship. But Jack said to me, he said, Dan, if somebody did an Overland show in the Midwest, it'd be a big deal.
Yep.
So my partners in this, Carlos Stinson and Joe Mullen, they're big in the Overland community. I mean, they're huge in the Overland community. So I mentioned to Joe that, okay, I talked to this guy, Jack Flood. He's with Wisconsin Overland. He goes, Dan, let's do a show. We have to do a show.
Yep.
He was just, both of them, Carlos and him were just like it. They took over. They were like, you got to find a spot. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to call the guy back up. You got to see where he wants to do, what he wants, how he wants to do it. So with Jack saying, like 3 weeks ago or a month ago?
About a month ago, yeah.
About a month ago,
Yeah.
Jack says, if somebody in the Midwest did a show, boy, we could have some fun, and we could really turn this in and have a good time. So that's how Jack ended up here, because we met with Chris a little bit ago, who's another guy that's going to be a big deal what we're doing.
Yep. Chris Hoffenwanger.
Okay, and then we got Cindy that's going to end up being a big deal in what we're doing. But we are putting on, and let's do this. We are going to officially be doing the Midwest Overland Fest August 22nd and 23rd at the Richland County Fairgrounds in Richland Center, Wisconsin, in 2 months.
Yep.
We are putting on an Overland show. We are inviting any and everybody that would like to come and be part of what we're doing. And we are going to do, that was the big part of the discussion earlier today. We're going to do what's right. We're going to be nice, and we're going to have fun.
Yep. And so many places are canceling right now that we want to be something that's open, that people can go to. Because, there's so much that's being canceled at this point in time. We need to have something where people can go.
Yes, and we talked about this. This thing is not going to go away. It's part of our life now.
Yep.
With a lot of other things that are part of our life. So we have to be smart. We have to, we have to use our heads. So you got to wash your hands. Maybe if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I don't like people telling me what I can and can't do. But
Exactly.
Be smart and be safe. And we're going to have sanitation stations. The vendors, we talked about the vendors. Wipe down what you have. Have where people can sanitize. We just have to be responsible.
Yep.
And we can enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. Got to be responsible for your own safety.
Yes. Yes. Now, should we talk about? Let's not. Well, we got 2 months to talk about. We're going to do clinics. We want to do demonstrations. What else did we talk about? We want to do.
We're going to have, try to have vehicles there and different campsites and
That's another one. If you come, you can camp. If you would like to, we're going to make it. Camping will be available. You can buy. You'll be able to prepay, and you can camp 1 night, 2 nights, or 3 nights.
Yep.
And that's all things that we're going to talk about. What do we got? Can't wait. Matt Butcher will be coming. We're really excited about it. So Dave Dorsey and Mike Boss own DeBoss Firearms.
Okay.
They're going to be there. They're going to be all set up. They'll have some firearms. I don't know if they're going to have some ammo. They'll have First Tactical apparel. Chris was talking about apparel. They'll come with a lot of First Tactical apparel. So they're going to be. You're going to end up meeting Dave. He's in Oshkosh.
Yeah.
So they're up in Oshkosh. They got a beautiful facility in place up there, and they're part of what we got going on here too. And we're going to do a cook-off.
Yep. Cook-off would be excellent, and part of camping is doing cooking, or part of overlanding is doing cooking, and to have a bake-off or a cook-off.
What was Chris talking about?
It's called a scuttle. It's actually a cooking device. It's like a wok with a propane,
I'm learning a lot.
underneath it.
I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to seem like a
No, that's all right.
I'm like, what's he talking about?
Yeah, no, it's a scuttle, and it's like
Okay.
a walk, and it's got a propane heating element underneath, and you can go underneath, and
Now, let's talk about this also. We're going to do these broadcasts. I'm going to do where I can do broadcasts with vendors that we're going to have at the event. They're going to talk about what they're bringing and what they're doing. But I would also like to put this out there. This is a community. This is a group. This is not, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. If you have suggestions, or if you have things that you'd like to see, or if you have things that, we're guys that are accessible.
Yep.
We want to make this nice for everybody. Let us know. Let's talk about it. Let's give us a suggestion. We want to make this as nice event as we possibly can. That's my big deal is I want to enjoy myself. I want to make some friends. I want to have some people that I can look back and say, wow, I'm really glad I know that person, and I can call that person a friend. And that to me is a big deal.
Yeah.
So that's I'm bringing the bike. So Matt's bringing the bike. Jack here is big on the electric bike. I was trying to tell him we got the bike, man, but you got to see our bike. So
I can't
we'll
wait
have the
to see
bike
your
there. Anything you'd like to add?
Not at this point in time.
Well,
a lot of things are going to be happening
A lot of
very
things.
quickly.
Now let's also mention this. You've got another show coming up in September.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You want to talk about that a little bit, because what I'd like to do is this is a Midwest thing.
Yeah.
We're in the Midwest. That's going on in the UP of Michigan.
Yep. The Keweenaw Peninsula of Michigan. We're doing the Keweenaw Overland Adventure Retreat, and that we've actually sold out. We can't sell any more tickets, which is awesome. That we
Right.
But
people can plan for next year.
Yep. People can plan for next year.
They can plan for next year.
And yeah, our event it's similar to what's going on here, except we're doing camping, and then we take people out in their 4-wheel drive vehicles and actually take them on trails.
Yeah.
And that's nice. This event is all about getting geared up and getting ready and seeing what other people have. Then you have core, where it's about, actually using the gear, where, this new, the Midwest Overland, it's going to be the Midwest Overland Fest. That's going to be all about seeing what gear people have, what gear's out there, and what gear you think you should buy. Get some hands on.
If you go camping and do anything adventurous outdoors, you're overlanding.
Yep.
Truthfully, that's overlanding. And what I'd like to explain, and maybe I don't know if I'm educating. I had to get educated because Carlos and Joe about 2 years ago, I said overlanding. What is overlanding? So they explained. I was like, wow, that's pretty neat. I've talked to a bunch of people. I talked to Greg Vitesnik with Vitesnik Power Sports in town.
Yeah.
I said, Greg, would you be interested? I mean, it'd be, they got a huge power sports store in Richland Center, and being a sponsor and all. What is overlanding? Everybody I talk to in Wisconsin here, the first thing they say is, what is overlanding?
Yeah.
So out west, it's huge. Here, it's getting to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to be doing this show and the show that you're doing up in the UP is once you see it and once you understand what's being done there and the products and everything that goes along with overlanding, you'll be hooked.
Yeah.
You'll be hooked.
Well, and that's, the big thing is, why do I do overlanding? Well, because it allows me to get further away from people, and I'm self-sufficient. I can do my hobbies, my hunting, my fishing, mountain biking.
And thinking.
Yeah, and thinking.
Maybe just have some time to yourself.
Exactly. And I'm not surrounded, I can be out in the middle of the woods where there's no one around, and I've got a refrigerator in my truck, and I've got my own
You're
propane.
self-sufficient.
Yeah, I'm self-sufficient. I got a solar panel on top of my truck that keeps my battery charged, so it doesn't, my refrigerator doesn't drain it.
Now, one thing that you're big in, and I'm hoping you're going to teach some classes and you're going to do some more in, is ham radio.
Yep.
Ham radio, I think in the last year, when I was a kid, it was a big deal with different people. But I know from watching, and now that I've been talking with people in overlanding, ham radio is a big deal. Now, you're a guy that really knows the ham radio world and what's going on there.
Yeah, and in all reality, it's just my hobby. It's another hobby that I can do while overlanding. I was just up in the UP, in the Upper Peninsula, this last weekend, and I set up my radio. I put an antenna up in the tree. I was talking to people in Texas. I was talking to people in North Carolina. I was talking to people in Rome. I mean, this is all from the UP, and there was no cellular connection out there. I've got some other device. I've got a cellular communication device, but ham radio, it's my hobby. So yeah, I know a bit about it.
And maybe we could get you to do a clinic or
Yep.
Saturday and Sunday. We'll schedule a time where that Jack can sit down and we'll figure out a way that you can talk to people if they're interested in the ham radio.
Yep.
What else is were you talking? Dean will probably do a clinic. What else would be clinics that would be very beneficial for people at our Midwest Overland?
We'd like to see some clinics in recovery because, if you're going
gotcha.
off-road with your vehicle, you're going to get stuck.
Winches.
You're going to get stuck, and you've got winches, and you've got shovels, and you've got to know how to use your winch.
They have limits.
They have limits.
They have limits.
But if you buy a winch and you've never used it, and then you get stuck, well, now you're using it in the worst circumstance. I use my winch probably maybe twice a month.
Maybe talk a little bit about being preparedness. Practice.
Yep.
Maybe take some things out and use them a little bit before you need them.
Yep.
Understand your product and understand what you
Exactly.
have and understand what you're doing. So that's all things that we're going to do. Let me do this again. Oh, here. So let's do this. There's your the best place to.
That's my Instagram.
There's your Instagram, and that's where if you're looking at more stuff that Jack's got going on.
Yep. I got my ham radio, my truck, any mountain biking, guns. I do a lot of fun stuff.
We were talking about that. We're going to start manufacturing ammunition, and him and Chris are going to be our first customers on They Need Ammo.
Can't buy ammo anywhere, so.
Well, we're going to have ammo as soon as we can buy. We got some things going on that we need to do with the ammo. But we're going to be manufacturing ammo here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's go back to this. This is initially our launch of letting people know, and I'm going to do these broadcasts with vendors that we got. They can talk about what they're going to be bringing, what they're going to be doing, but we're going to talk about the Midwest Overland Fest that'll be August 22nd and 23rd. Well, Friday. Friday's going to be a day of meet and greet where we're all, if you want to come on Friday, nobody's going to say, well, you can't come or you can't be here today. So this is a fun thing.
Yeah.
So, but we'll be there probably on the 20th and the 21st, but the 22nd and 23rd are the show. And come on, we've made this affordable. We made this where you can bring your families and everybody can enjoy themselves. It's in Richland Center, at Richland County Fairgrounds in Richland Center, Wisconsin.
Yep.
So with that, are we going to say goodbye?
Yeah.
We've done our first. Hopefully, Dave Dorsey, how long has Overland... Okay, so Dave Dorsey got it. How long has Overland been operating?
Well, I mean, people have been doing it for over 50 years. They just, didn't
call it overlanding.
They didn't call it overlanding. I mean, it really got popular, let's say, in the last 10 years, 10, 12 years, where, I remember hearing about it, years ago, and I'm like, oh, that's something I'd really want to do is, get out and do my hobbies out in the woods, and, and then, more and more people started doing it. And so people started gathering around and going to, these overland, events.
Yeah.
These,
and out west, it's huge.
Out west, yeah.
Because
it's huge.
when it comes to Carlos and Joe,
Yep.
Every other conversation with those two guys is something that has to do with overlanding. Yep. And just taking a family. Carlos, both of those guys are big at, they load the family up and they go. They just, they take off and they go, and they have really nice weekends. And it's really, you said in the last, 2 years, 3 years in Wisconsin, in the Midwest here, it's really
kicked up.
Really kicked up here in the Midwest. So, but that's what we got going on. With that, are we going to say goodnight?
Yeah.
And like I said, Jack introduced himself. Jack's gonna be spending a lot of time with us.
Yeah, you'll see me a lot more.
Oh yeah, you're going to see a lot more, Jack. And we want you to plan right now and think about coming to our event. That's my main thing is I want people to come. I want them to come and enjoy themselves. I want them to come and see something that's really neat. If you just go on the internet and look at Overland vehicles.
Yeah.
Oh man, what some of these guys do is amazing what they do with their vehicles. So we're going to have fun with this. Yeah. We're putting on a show, man. We're putting on a show, and everybody's invited.
Yep.
So with that, are we going to say Good night,
Yep.
and thank you, and join us, and
Hey, see you next time.
see you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.